It was a cold and windy morning when Mara found a child near the bus stop, busy throwing an apple core on the ground. Something about the scene caught his attention, as if that gesture hid a deeper story. Before continuing with this exciting story, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so as not to miss our future magnificent stories. But to understand how we got to this point, let's take a few steps back. Mara had spent the last 7 years of her life sweeping the city streets. Every day, with his broom in hand, he found himself fighting against the filth and indifference of the people. He didn't like the job, but he had no other choice. He spent hours collecting leaves and paper, yelling at anyone who dared to dirty his territory. "You don't make this mess at home, do you? So why do it here?" His words, filled with frustration and anger, echoed through the silent alleys, but few seemed to listen. His life had always been difficult. As a child, her father was an alcoholic, and her mother worked as a cleaner in a seedy bar. They had no money, and Mara had to make do with second-hand clothes. And every day he found himself fighting against his bullies at school. Every day was a fight for survival, and the dream of a better life seemed further and further away. The memories of those dark years were like a weight he couldn't shake off. Every night, as she tried to sleep, that broken dream came back to haunt her, making her feel trapped in a life she didn't choose. He dreamed of going to university, but his parents prevented him. "First find a job, then you can study," his father said. Mara obeyed, giving up her dream and finding herself trapped in a spiral of financial problems and responsibilities. The years passed, her parents died, and Mara found herself at 50 with the regret of never having been able to study. She felt the weight of time passing by, like sand slipping from her hands, and every day she wondered what her life would have been like if she had had the chance to study. One day, while working near a bus stop, he saw a boy of about 10 years old throw an apple core on the ground. "Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't you see the garbage can?" Mara shouted. His voice rang out with a determination that brooked no reply. The boy, named Gabriele, answered innocently, "But that is not garbage. It is biological waste. It will remain there for a day or two. It will decompose, or maybe a tree will grow." The boy's words were simple, but there was a logic to them that Mara couldn't ignore. Mara immediately understood that something was wrong. Gabriele didn't go to school like the other children. He lived with a stepfather who didn't care about him. The pain in the child's eyes awakened painful memories in Mara, who decided to do something. In those eyes, Mara saw herself again, a neglected child full of broken dreams. She felt a deep connection with that little one, as if destiny had brought her someone to save. "Let's make a deal," Mara said. "I'll pay you €5 for every day you go to school." Gabriele accepted, incredulous. Before continuing, we would like to ask you, what would you have done in Mara's place? Would you have helped Gabriele to go back to school? If you liked the video, leave your precious like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So he started going to school every day, at first just for the money. But after 6 months, he realized that he enjoyed studying and continued even without payment. Mara kept her promise, however. He felt he was doing the right thing. Every morning, when Gabriel showed her his progress, Mara felt a joy she had never known before. The boy began to shine, and each of his successes filled Mara with pride and joy. Every positive grade, every compliment from the teachers was a shared victory. Every night, Mara fell asleep with a light heart, knowing that she was making a difference in that child's life. After graduating high school, Gabriele enrolled in a prestigious university and lost contact with Mara for a while. As the years passed, Mara never forgot the boy she had helped. Every time she passed by the school, she hoped to see him again, to know that he was okay. Every now and then, Mara wondered what had happened to Gabriele, if he was realizing his dreams. And each time, the memory of those days spent motivating him filled her with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. One day, while sweeping a parking lot, he saw an expensive car parked there. It wasn't something he saw often in his neighborhood. From the house opposite came out a young man in business suit. Mara's heart skipped a beat. "Gabriele, is that you?" she asked in a thread of a voice, almost unable to believe her eyes. He smiled and invited her to have a coffee. He told how he had become a successful man thanks to her. Mara, moved, listened attentively. Every word Gabriele said was a balm for the wounds of his heart. The gratitude in his eyes was palpable, and Mara felt tears well up as she listened to the story of this young man who had made her dreams come true. She felt like a mother who finally sees the fruits of her sacrifices. Gabriele did not limit himself to words of gratitude. He promised to solve Mara's problems and within a week gave her a new house and a job as an administrator in his company. Mara was in disbelief and deeply grateful. Thanks to Gabriele, she had finally found new hope and a better life. Every day, entering her new office, Mara felt reborn, as if a new chapter in her life had just begun. His new home was a haven of peace, a symbol of a finally bright future. Gabriele never forgot the times when he walked the streets, throwing away garbage. Thanks to Mara, his life changed radically. Eventually, Mara understood that the boomerang of goodwill always comes back. When you help someone, you can be sure that when the time comes, someone will return the favor. What would you have done in Mara's place? Do you agree that a small act of kindness can truly change a life? We look forward to hearing from you in the comments.